We constantly tell ourselves, I'm going to eat healthier, or I want to be more productive. We set these foggy goals and leave them up to chance, hoping that we will magically remember to do them at the perfect moment. When we fail to follow through, we tend to blame ourselves. We assume the problem is a lack of willpower, or that we simply didn't want it badly enough. But in 2001, researchers in Great Britain tested this assumption. They tracked 248 people over 2 weeks to see what actually builds a new exercise habit, dividing them into 3 distinct groups. This graph compares the results of the first 2 groups. The control group was simply asked to track their workouts. The motivation group was asked to track their workouts, but they also read material detailing the health benefits of exercise. Despite the extra encouragement, both groups stalled out. Only 35 to 38% of people in either group exercised at least once. Then there was the third group. They received the exact same motivational presentation as the second group, but they had one extra task: formulating a plan for exactly when and where they would exercise. As you can see, 91% of this group followed through. The gap between the groups suggests that relying on willpower is a mathematical failure compared to making a concrete plan of action. This brings us to the first law of behavior change: make it obvious. To stop relying on chance, you have to leverage the 2 most reliable behavioral cues we have: time and location. The highly successful third group in that study used a specific strategy called an implementation intention. It relies on a very precise formula. You complete the sentence, "I will perform this behavior at this time in this location." This takes a vague desire like "I want to meditate" and turns it into a hard directive: "I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen." Deciding the details in advance removes the burden of choice. When the moment occurs, there is no need to wait for inspiration. You simply execute the predetermined plan. In 1765, an impoverished French philosopher named Denis Diderot received a massive windfall. Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia, bought his personal library for what would be over $150,000 today. With money to spare, Diderot purchased a beautiful scarlet robe. But almost immediately, he noticed that his new, elegant clothing made all of his other common possessions look glaringly out of place. So he replaced his rug with one from Damascus. He bought expensive sculptures and upgraded his kitchen table just to match the aesthetic of his new robe. Psychologists refer to this pattern as the Diderot effect. It states that obtaining a new possession, or taking a single new action, creates a spiral of consumption that leads to additional linked actions. You go to the bathroom, which leads to washing your hands, which reminds you to put the dirty towels in the laundry. No human behavior happens in isolation. Every action you take naturally becomes a cue that triggers the very next behavior. Instead of falling victim to this chain reaction, you can intentionally hijack it. You can use this connectedness to build new routines with almost zero friction. Stanford professor B.J. Fogg created a framework for this called habit stacking. Rather than pairing a new goal with a time on a clock, you pair it with a habit you already do every single day. The strategy follows a simple equation. After my current habit, I will do my new habit. There is a strict rule for this to work. The trigger you select must be an immediately actionable and highly specific physical event. An ambiguous window of time will fail. For example, telling yourself, "When I take a break for lunch, I will do 10 push-ups," is entirely too vague. Do you do them before you eat? After? Compare that to, "When I close my laptop for lunch, I will do 10 push-ups next to my desk." By tightly binding your new goal to an unavoidable daily action, like brushing your teeth or pouring a cup of coffee, you implicitly build the exact time and location right into the trigger. You make the new habit virtually inevitable. Once you master this basic stack, you can begin to scale up. You can chain multiple small habits together in a seamless sequence, where one completed physical action directly cues the start of the next. An evening routine might look like this. After I finish eating dinner, I put my plate directly into the dishwasher. After I put my dishes away, I immediately wipe down the counter. After I wipe down the counter, I set out my coffee mug for tomorrow morning. Having this specific, interconnected architecture protects your progress. It makes it easier to say no to random distractions because your very next move is already programmed. With enough repetition in that physical space, you develop a subconscious urge to do the right thing. You no longer have to debate your choices. Your body simply knows what comes next. Meaningful change occurs when we stop waiting for a spark and start architecting a system where the right action happens by default.